Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Prime News on my Major Prime live from Douala. My name is Genda Peldrin Blanche Kim. We begin today's edition of the news with statistics or updates about the casualties and killings or lives lost within the context of the socio-political crisis in the two English-speaking regions of the country. At least 81 persons were killed in different violent situations across Cameroon in the month of May 2021. This is the substance of a report published today by Stand Up for Cameroon Human Rights Working Group. This report is compiled by Lasha Kingsley.
Stand Up for Cameroon Human Rights Working Group has published its report on the human rights situation of Cameroon for the month of May 2021. The report focuses on the observation of situations of violence and human rights violations throughout the national territory in general and in areas where armed conflicts are taking place in particular. At least 71 situations of violence were recorded, 42 of which were in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon within the context of the Anglophone crisis, 23 in the far north in the fight against Boko Haram, and 6 in the other regions of the country. At least 81 people were killed, 49 in the conflict in the northwest and southwest regions, 29 in the far north, and 3 in the other regions of the country. The report also decried malpractices in the management of COVID-19 funds, the violations of the rights of 2 members of the LGBT community. The working group concludes its report with 35 recommendations to the state of Cameroon, armed groups, Cameroonian civil society organizations, journalists, ordinary Cameroonians, and international organizations and partners of the states of Cameroon.
A campaign to end hate speech and xenophobia led by the Commission for the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism is underway in the country. From the littoral region, the southwest region, members of the Commission have been meeting with civil societies and non-government organizations in the northwest region, as our reporter Charles Kebwa tells us in the report that follows.
In an effort to shun out hate speech from the society, members of the National Commission for Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism delegation to the Northwest 15th to 18 June as a step towards peace in resolving the ongoing Anglophone crisis have compiled a list of suggestions which they promise to forward to the right quarter for action.
We're talking about transmitting to the head of state, relaying what we are discussing here to the head of state. You can be very sure that will be done. But we can only remember this commission is advisory. It goes to the field, gets information, gets data, and then we communicate to the region, to the head of state. We don't have the executive powers to have what we send up there to be executed. I hide nothing. I'm not a people pleaser. What we are discussing here will get there. I'm not one of those parading the powers of corridors of power, you know. I'm just a member of the commission. If I were, let me tell you, if I were, and that's why I've asked myself, what has happened to the elite of this region where this crisis, in fact, destroying? Have they told the head of state the truth?
In a move to eradicate hate speech, after meeting with officials of the civil society and non-governmental organizations, the delegation met with media top brass in the Northwest.
Let us use the right organizations that are fighting against hate speech and xenophobia to come on board and empower them so that they can be able to do it for us.
When you show a neglect, or when you show neglect of a language, you are equally insinuating that you hate the people.
Now, when they use them wrongly, the government goes as far as shutting down the internet. That is a violation of human rights. The government should use the internet to be proactive.
6 years after or so, what has happened to the Bamen Ababaji Road? You don't expect me as a Northwesterner to use the Bamen Ababaji Road I don't talk hate about the government.
The journalists told the commission they are working in an atmosphere of suspicion, doubt, and fear, with officials in the region neglecting the private media when issuing information for public consumption. Proposed the holding of psychological counseling sessions to help them cope in reporting in the conflict zone. Request that private and public organs be treated equally by government in a move to eradicate hate speech.
Children drawn from different orphanages and internally displaced homes in Kmer Division, southwest region of the country, have jointly commemorated the 2021 edition of the International Day for the African Child. The event focused on the fight against child labor, amongst other ills, and was organized by the divisional delegation of social affairs for Kmer Division. So let's now listen to Tamfu Sidwan Dimbia in the following report.
The 31st edition of the Day of the African Child has been celebrated in Kumba under the theme, The Fight Against Juvenile Violence and Mobilization of Children. Talking on the 16th of June 2021 at the Kumba Women Empowerment and Family Center, the Divisional Delegate of Women Empowerment for Meme, Madame Walipenja Suzanne, said her delegation has decided to celebrate with the vulnerable population of children in the division who are violated on a daily basis.
Some children from the orphanages, children, IDPs, internally displaced children, and children, orphans at home, children who are being taken care of at home.
At a time when child violence continues to prevail, more stringent measures are required if the amicable procedures are not respected by perpetrators.
Whenever we have those reports, because there are several ways that we get reports on violence against children, so we try to invite the persons perpetrating the violence in the community, and then we give them counseling. We counsel them, and when it is very, very severe, we bring in the police.
The ceremony featured lectures on ways to fight child abuse, question and answer session, and cultural manifestation attended by children drawn from the various orphanages, internally displaced, and other children considered vulnerable. The day was graced by the presence of the Meme administration, represented by the First Assistant SDO for Meme, Madame Hemian Chunje.
News of a 9-year-old kid who passed away recently, falling from a third-floor balcony of a school building in Bepanda here in Douala, has raised brows and questioned security measures adopted by most academic institutions, especially here in Douala. How this incident happened is what Audrey Zatza tells us in the following report.
The incident occurred at the Divine International Primary School in Bepanda, Douala 5 on Wednesday, 16th of June, when the 9-year-old named Sanjong, pupil in the said school, took permission to ease herself. On coming back, she began playing with her friend on the third-floor balcony of the school building. Reports from the scene alleged that she was pushed by her friend in the course of the game. Informed of the situation, the father, in shock, explains.
I feel transpierced. I feel tied up. She is the eldest. I saw her off this morning at school with her junior brothers. At about 1 p.m., I received a call from the school authorities informing me that my child has had an accident. I asked myself, how can the child have an accident while in the school premises?
The latter, who had been conversing with school authorities, was then asked to meet them at the Lakentini hospital.
That is how I left everything I was doing and rushed to the Lakentini hospital. While there, I got straight to the emergency ward. I couldn't find my child. When I came out of the emergency ward, some women who witnessed the scene came and held me, asking me to be strong.
While it is still unclear whether the class 5 pupil was pushed or accidentally fell from the balcony, many are wondering why people's classrooms should be on the third floor of a building. Some hours after the incident, school teachers and friends gathered at the deceased resident to express their heartfelt condolences to the family.
Bonda Tembe Clement and co accused of uttering 40 and abusive words against the president and some ministers over the alleged mismanagement of COVID-19 funds have been slammed 1 year in prison with a fine of 500,000 francs CFA. A court in Banga found them guilty of using contemptuous words against President Paul Biya. Many asked for their unconditional release before the sentence, laying arguments on the right of expression and freedom of speech. Away from that, a man in his late 30s living in Yaoundé was caught recently with a mixture which he sells as vegetable oil. According to those who have closely monitored his activities over time, this mixture contains urine and a small quantity of vegetable oil sealed in 5-liter containers. This revelation is a wake-up call for consumers who have to be extra careful to avoid possible health crises due to unhealthy mixtures. We now talk something else. The Higher Institute of Business Management and Technology, HIBMAT, has signed a memorandum of understanding with the University of Buea to boost professional training offered to the students. The clause of the partnership stressed on ensuring that students undergoing professional HND programs at HIBMAT will be able to switch to general studies in cases where they intend to further their studies. Clarissa Kowe tells us more.
Thank you so much for trusting me.
An exchange of documents between the University of Buea UB and the Higher Institute of Business Management and Technology HIBMAT. This is to symbolize an official signing of a memorandum of understanding between both higher institutions of learning, taking place at the boardroom of the Faculty of Science, University of Buea, and in the presence of the representative of the Minister of Higher Education, Madam Eza. This MOU, according to the Vice Chancellor of UB, Professor Ngumo Horace Manga, comes with some specific instructions for its new partners.
It is about mentorship on certain courses, banking, management, and some courses in technology, for example, software engineering, computer engineering, and other courses in other areas. So we are asking those institutions to make sure that they meet up with the terms of the agreement.
A partnership which to the president of HIBMAT he described as a dream come true while pledging to work within the stated guidelines by the University of Buea.
We are very much happy. Today we are officially introducing the BSc program under the mentorship of the University of Buea in several disciplines, in the School of Business Management Sciences and in the School of Engineering and Technology. We're going to work in close collaboration with them, meeting up with all expectations.
Furthermore, through this MOU, students from HIBMAT will be able to pursue degree programs, masters and PhD in the General System of Education, Director of HIBMAT uncovered.
Now, the Bachelor of Technology is a professional degree, so it does not permit you to continue in the general university system. And the intention is to give an opportunity to those who want to go through the university system. They do their first degree and come here and do their master's.
It is worth noting that HIBMAT is an institution accredited since 2010 by the Ministry of Higher Education to offer professional training to students in various fields, including HND programs, degree programs, to cite but these few.
Thanks, Clarissa Kowe. You're watching the 6:30 Prime News on My Major Prime. Some 200 women and girls in the Northwest region have received training on entrepreneurship. The initiative, led by Light Outreach Foundation, is aimed at raising funds to support business ventures of close to 2,000 women and girls across the 10 regions of the country. Charles Kibwine, the following report.
Light Outreach Foundation International, Luffy, June 17 in Bamenda, in an entrepreneurship training seminar matching with this year's theme of the African Child, targets to train 2,000 girls in Cameroon, to begin with 200 in each region and at the end empower 10 in each region with capital to start up businesses on their own.
First, I want them to get the knowledge, which is our goal, to get the basic understanding of who an entrepreneur is, what it takes to start up a business, what it takes to grow a business, what it takes to write a good business plan that can attract funding, and the principles of success.
Declaring the training open in the Northwest region, the regional delegate for social affairs, while appreciate Light Outreach Foundation International for its outreach, appealed to participants who've been part of the training seminar to make use of the knowledge and improve on their well-being as a means to see Luffy dream successful. A fundraising then called Luffy Raffle Games, which is a platform to offer gifts to the entire population of the nation of Cameroon, was launched. Luffy Executive Director Nke Thomas, while thanked the government through the Ministry of Social Affairs for the subvention received in 2018, which was a great support to the foundation, particularly the orphans. This time around, targets in 2,000 girls get a basic understanding of what entrepreneurship is.
The women will return with at least a knowledge on how to do something. It could be reading soap, it could be rubbing oil, it could be Vaseline, different things will bring.
Participants were given opportunity to write their business plan to be submitted in the foundation head office.
Coming here today, it was not a mistake. This is to say that I have been empowered, I have been enriched mentally, because I've gotten information on how to start a business and how to be an entrepreneur.
The 10 best business plans will have sponsored to start off their own businesses, which will go a long way to fight against violence in their life, in that when they will be able to establish business and follow them up successfully and become successful, they will not be subjected to violence or abuse of any kind.
Out of the country, former president of Ivory Coast, Laurent Gbagbo, returned to his country yesterday after 10 years in exile. Thousands of sympathizers or supporters gathered at Abidjan to celebrate his return. Von Quinta reports.
Thousands of Ivorians on the streets of Abidjan on Thursday, June 17, to welcome former president Laurent Gbagbo, will return to the country for the first time since his arrest 10 years ago following his acquittal by the International Criminal Court. 76-year-old Gbagbo arrived at the country's economic hub Abidjan on a commercial flight from the Belgian capital, and thousands took to the streets to celebrate his return. Mr. Gbagbo, who was in power from 2000 to 2011, was sent to the Hague-based court in 2011 after some 3,000 people were killed in a month-long conflict that followed his refusal to accept defeat at the hands of incumbent President Alassane Ouattara. Laurent Gbagbo was charged with war crimes and crimes against humanity following the 2011 conflict, but was acquitted by the ICC in 2019. Gbagbo's return after 10 years in exile is seen as a test for the country and the population that still has the bloody 2011 conflict fresh in their memory. Former Ivorian President Laurent Gbagbo, on one of his social media handles, thanked Cameroonians for their support with pictures of himself, and Social Democratic Front Party chairman Nijan Furundi made rounds on social media upon his arrival to Ivory Coast yesterday, June 17, 2021.
We talk sports. Gabriel Zabotaze is the new coach of the national senior ladies football team, replacing Alain Njumfa, while Gael Nganamoit is the new team manager. The information is contained in a decree or release signed by President of Fcfa, Seydou Mbumbu Njoya, earlier today. Away from that, the Sport Association of Arab Box, representing the International Federation of Arab Box in Cameroon, has presented to the press 3 boxers to fly the country flag come July in Moscow. The announcement was made by National Representative Trias Swebu in Douala yesterday. Lasha Kinsley has details.
The International Federation of Arab Box expands its tentacles into the sports world in Cameroon, with the Sports Association of Arab Box to sell the image of the institution in Cameroon.
Association of Arab Box, which is just new in Cameroon,
You know, the Sport Association of Arab Box is to represent the International Federation, which is based in Dubai, of course. So we are here to talk to pressmen and women about an important event that will take place in the city of Moscow in the month of July up till the month of August.
3 Cameroonian boxers have been selected by the association to represent the country in Russia in July. The president underscores that the economic fallouts of the Russia Grand Prix are manifold.
The economic aspect of it will be very, very important at a moment when Cameroon is highly in need of investors to actually transform the country into an emerging nation by 2035. So we are not only going to Russia for sport events, but we are equally going there to come back with investors who will then help us transform our country.
The president of the association says reconfirming the sports position of Cameroon at the international scene is also one of his prime objectives.
We shall do everything, of course, to make sure that we reconfirm the sport position of Cameroon at the level of the world and particularly at the level of the Central African sub-region.
Created in 1990, the International Sports Federation of Arab Box promotes equality of human beings, peace, as well as the fight against racism.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for being a part of today's edition of Prime News on My Major Prime. See you on Monday, God willing, at 6:30 for another edition of Prime News on My Major Prime. 5th, Tata Berenyo coordinated the news, produced by Ewane Airline Olinga. My name is Genda Blanche King. Stay tuned. At 7 p.m. Cameroon time, we'll have Prime Hour with Leonard. Happy viewing, happy weekend, and good night.